My number one peaceful place is the gym. When I go there, I spend a lot of time in prayer and I come out of the gym feeling like I can do anything in the whole world. So I love the gym. When I was 38 years old, my toes just went numb for no reason. Went to my PCP multiple times, and eventually she found out that I had monoclonal gammopathy, a high protein in my blood. So they treated me like I was an active myeloma patient. I lost my ability to work as a dental hygienist. I had been at the same practice for 18 years and I loved my patients. So I had to lose that because I couldn't work. I was too sick. It was 2016 and my doctor recommended me to have this clinical trial. I was supposed to get married the following year. So I left the doctor's office with my fiance and he turned to me and he said, "We got to get married tomorrow." And I said, "What? Tomorrow? I need a dress." He said, "Well, I can't take care of you if we don't live together." We made a decision that night. We went to my minister's house and we told them that I had to be treated and we needed to get married. And the minister's wife ran and got the calendar and said, "Okay, you're gonna do it next week." And it was beautiful. We went on our honeymoon and we came back and I started treatment. Before the clinical trial, there were other drugs that made me ill, but because I was on my own dealing with it, it was different. This time, I had my soulmate with me. I had my best friend with me. And so he was there to make things just lighter. So number one, I wanted to know how long the trial was going to be. And it was 2 years. And that kind of made me upset. And the other thing was that I found out that I had to go on the dreaded dexamethasone. And I was really upset that I had to do that because the last time I had been on that drug, I gained 100 pounds. So I was really like, "Oh, do you have to do it with dexamethasone?" And she said, "Joan, everybody has to do it with the dexamethasone." My husband had never seen me sick. And so I said to him, dexamethasone is going to make me big and moody and angry. And he said, "It's okay because you don't have to do this by yourself, my Spiky." He always takes care of me. He made sure that I had what I needed. And he also arranged for people to come over and check on me. So I wasn't really alone. There was a time I was in the wheelchair and I was very depressed and my house was dusty and dirty and I couldn't clean it. And some members of my church, some sisters came over and they cleaned and I sat there and I wept and they cleaned and they made it all look much better. And then they left. They handed me an envelope and I had a stack of bills on my table. And they handed me this envelope and it had a get well card in it. And it had the same exact amount of money that I needed inside of the card. In my community, the Black and Brown community, people are very hesitant to be in clinical trials only because of the historical reasons that we are afraid. And there's a lot of fear-based people out there that don't want to be guinea pigs, that don't want to be experimented on. But I said to myself, this was a way for me to give back to my community, also to stand up for my community. I wanted to make sure that all the data that they get from the clinical trial has some representation of my community. So my reasoning was that a clinical trial may not help me, but it can help everyone else. It was very important to me to be a part of something of a solution. I also believe that when you're in a clinical trial, you get more attention, you get more exams, you get more testing. They really try to keep an eye on you. You're very much cared for in a different way than standard treatment. The fear should never stop you, or someone else's experience shouldn't stop you from getting this treatment and getting what you need. We have to all remember that God is in the midst, because here I am 20 years later and still living to tell you the story and hopefully inspire other people to just never give up.